These could be the best game improvement irons of 2026. Srixon has added a model to its lineup. It's the ZXiR irons. There are two key features why they could be the best irons for you in 2026. Make sure you stay tuned for the full YouTube video for all the details and specs. Hey golfers, I'm Drew Mahol, the Second Swing Golf here at the Second Swing Minnetonka Tour Van. I'm joined by Harrison Arnold, Master Club Fitter. We got new irons from Srixon. They've kind of taken their really cool look, really cool feel, and brought them into the game improvement category. Harrison, give me your first impressions. This is the ZXiR irons.
Yeah, so I think first impression is very similar to kind of that i4, but maybe just a touch beefier, right? Definitely a little bit wider in that sole. This looks like a slightly longer blade length, but very clean looking iron.
Yeah, I think it looks really good for the category that it's in. Also, big piece we got to talk about is the new material. This is the iAlloy material. It's very similar to the other steel material that's used commonly in the industry, but it's softer, and so I imagine that's going to help a lot with the feel. I'll get your feedback on that. Yeah. But then also a lot of the technologies that work for Srixon are also still here. That VT sole, kind of the two-tiered sole there with that ridge right in the middle, really good for turf interaction. There's also mainframe technology, which kind of pushes some weight to the perimeter for that stability. I think we will do a future video on ZXiR versus ZXi4, because that's kind of where I'm most curious, is to see where this sort of fits into the whole lineup. Yeah,
for sure. That'll be interesting to kind of see how different it really feels to that, if that does feel a lot softer, if it's that noticeable, all the rest of that stuff.
Yeah, so there actually is two models here. We have just the standard ZXiR. The 7-iron is at 28.5 degrees aloft, so relatively strong. But I think there is this is kind of that category nowadays. You're a little under 30 degrees in loft, going to give you distance, and then we'll be watching the height and the launch as well when you test. The ZXiR HL model, a little bit lighter weight, higher loft, 32.5 on that. So there's kind of a big gap there,
for sure,
but meaningful for golfers that might need a little bit more. So what are you predicting today as you hit some shots? Obviously, I imagine you'll hit the ball a little further, a little higher ball speeds. So what are you thinking here?
Yeah, so whenever you see kind of like a game improvement iron like this, I would usually expect to see it to be a little bit lower in spin for a high-speed player. So definitely be expecting to see this thing go a lot further, because at that 28.5 degrees of loft, that's very strong 7-iron, probably closer to my 6-iron, so kind of closer to what I'd see there. Hollow body construction still, so should go a lot further. Yeah,
I think it'll be. I'm also curious on the feedback on the sound as well, because I think that's a big piece of this category too. So, all right, well, let's do some testing here, Harrison. So Harrison, ZXiR irons. Give me what you now see at address.
Yeah.
I mean, what catches your attention there?
For sure. So I think the first thing when I'm looking at these, a little bit more offset than a traditional iron, so a little bit more on that. Yeah, definitely towards that game improvement style. What that really means is seeing that face look a little bit more closed. Why that is in that hosel just looks a little bit more rounded here. Top line though is kind of a big factor here. Still pretty thin for a game improvement iron, right? Usually when we think game improvement, you usually think from aesthetics, really thick top line. This is pretty smart. I mean, it's definitely not a thin top line, but it's definitely nothing that's going to put people off. So very interesting to see that.
Yeah, and I think the big piece that I'm curious about is going to be, this is the first iron that we've hit with iAlloy and this kind of softer steel. So we'll see how that sounds and feels to you, because I think if it can make a step forward there, I think it could be a really attractive iron.
Yeah, I mean, they've always felt like a pretty soft iron anyway, right? So it's, I mean, it'll be interesting to see if we can really feel how different it is.
Yeah, exactly. So all right, let's rip a few shots here.
All right. So.
Wow, we're already above 130 miles an hour ball speed.
I was going to say for a early morning swing, that's not bad, huh?
That's 200 carry right away.
Yeah, that's we'll round up. I like rounding up.
Yeah, I mean,
but yeah, that's pretty quick. Huh?
1.43 on the smash factor. Another one hit really well.
So interestingly with that one, right? One thing they have done, they moved the sweet spot a little bit lower on the face here too. So they've done a lot of research and they've thought, okay, where do most golfers hit the golf ball? It's a little bit lower. So they've managed to move that sweet spot just a touch lower in this face. just for better energy transfer, right? If more people are going to be hitting
Right.
there, why not move that sweet spot, right? That last one actually felt a little bit bottomy to
Really?
me. So interesting to see that ball speed actually went up by mile and a half up. So
That's fascinating. Okay.
yeah, it carries down a little bit because I didn't feel like I hit it great, but ball speed was way up. Huh?
Yeah, so it's a really good idea too, because you're right, especially off the fairway. It's one thing when the ball's in the rough and maybe some fluffy grass. A lot of times you can catch it maybe high on the face.
Yeah.
But I think that is the struggle with a lot of golfers that might play an iron like this, is in the fairway when there's, you have to catch the ball perfect in a lot of ways, or you hit down on it and make this divot. A lot of golfers don't in this. That would be in this category of iron.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
So
Like
moving that sweet spot down, there's more pop to it.
Yeah, and I think for someone like myself, this is going to be a slightly weird test, right? But I think when I'm thinking back at some of the fittings that we've done this year, things like, okay, yeah, I have seen a lot of inconsistencies in the strike, and they've mostly been kind of either on that heel or toe side, but definitely lower on the equator. So
Right.
definitely a very smart idea there.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
All right, same thing again.
Yeah, that one launched a little bit higher.
Yeah, that's probably the best swing out of all of them.
That club path at exactly 0 kind of tells the story there.
Yeah, I mean that was about as good as I can swing.
Yeah.
So
and again, we should know this is the KBS Tour Light.
yeah,
stiff
KBS Tour Light.
shaft.
So probably not a perfect fit in the
Yeah.
shaft there, but
This is kind of just the set that Srixon, we're very grateful that they sent us a set here to
for
test and have ready
yeah.
for us. But I was seeing a fitting that would not be probably the shaft that you play.
No, definitely. And I think it was actually interesting to feel that one there where I actually felt like I hit it pretty solid there. It definitely feels soft. I don't know how much softer it really feels in comparison to other Srixon irons, but it's definitely feeling soft off the face.
Sure.
I haven't hit a Srixon iron in a little while, so maybe it's just my perspective, right? But
Okay.
but definitely feels very soft when I've hit that out the middle.
Okay. Yeah, that's good feedback, and that doesn't surprise me. I also don't, audio wise, it's not loud.
No, not at all.
Obviously every shot in this particular space is going to be loud with all the walls everywhere, but
Yeah.
I think I've watched and hit many shots in here, and it seems like it's on the quieter side of things.
Yeah, no, it definitely feels pretty good.
It's a powerful thud.
Yeah, definitely.
It's not a big crashing sound.
I think one thing to kind of note with this as well, just how long that blade length is, does give you a lot of confidence sitting
Yeah.
behind there. I'm very grateful that being early in the morning that I can kind of look at something this big.
Yeah. That was hit really well. See, that one that sounded so good.
Yeah, very similar again.
Is that the typical shot you'll play with your irons? Is kind of a
Typically, I'd actually see it go a little bit left, but
Really?
Okay. I'm just leaving the face a touch open with this one.
Sure.
But interesting to kind of see how that spin's kind of got a little bit higher there.
Yeah.
It hit that one a little bit lower on the face, which,
Okay.
to be honest with you, I've usually seen in fittings with Srixon irons, they are a little bit lower in spin. So I'm kind of liking seeing some of these swing shots where I've hit it a little bit lower on the face,
yeah.
that the spin is going up a little bit higher, because for the people who are going to be playing this iron, spin is always an issue. We're always trying to add spin because they usually don't have enough club head speed.
Right.
So we're always trying to add spin and some height, some land angle to the golf ball. So
Yeah.
seeing these kind of bottom on the face strikes spin a little bit higher.
Yeah.
Very
Well,
encouraging.
the thing about it is they're spinning a little bit, but like a lot of times those one on the bottom of the face, they won't go in the air though, right? Like
Yeah.
the spin that it generates will keep it in the air and might save it a little bit, but it doesn't launch high.
No.
These your height is tremendous on all of these. Your first three were all within the same peak height range. Your landing angle is around 50 degrees on average.
Yeah,
and again, you have plenty of speed to generate that stuff, but to see this iron give the spin to provide the spin that it is right now, and again with how strong that loft is and how high it's still able to get the ball, we hit a couple more here, but
yeah, for sure.
this
I
is a
think
really good
that's
start.
the thing. Like for someone like myself, I can make this work, right? You can put multiple things behind. I can make them work.
Yeah.
But looking at the people who are going to be playing this iron, I'm more interested in seeing the characteristics of what happens when I do hit it. Like I have been a little bit
Right.
bottom in the face there. Like the first couple swings were at low 4,000s.
Yeah.
Kind of what I expect out of a hollow body.
Right.
Game
Kind of off the
iron
mat, especially.
with my speeds. But if I hit out the bottom and see it spin higher, well, that's very encouraging for someone who's in the game improvement category.
Sure.
But let's see if we get a couple more. I might hit a couple of these a little bit harder just to see.
All right, yeah, that's fine.
See what spin does. Yeah, that was hit good.
A little more speed.
Yeah.
See, that one turned over.
Yeah. So one where I've actually hit it out the middle and gave it a little bit more, spin just dropped right through the roof.
Yeah.
For me. So it's interesting for me to kind of see the ones that I'm not hitting great are spinning higher, because that's just that's what we're going to be fitting it for, right?
Yeah, I mean, you said that was out the center. Look at that. That's about perfect.
But I do like these distances. That makes me feel very good.
You're hitting
about
this thing
myself.
pretty far. When you connect, I mean, you're hitting it over 200 carry.
Yeah. All right.
There's another one.
Good example there. Hit that a little bit off the bottom of the face again.
Okay.
Spin went up again.
Yep. See, a little bit lower.
A little bit lower on the face. Spin's gone up.
But you're still hitting it plenty far. You're not losing
No, I'm not losing anything. Well, actually, ball speed was the highest there. That's the highest ball speed I've had out of all of them.
Granted, you swung it a little faster too, and you're kind of getting loosened a little bit.
True.
But smash factor though, right?
Yeah.
Like that's the cool thing about it is when you go a little low in the face, you're actually the smash factor isn't dipping. If anything, it's going up.
Yeah.
So I think that's an encouraging piece too, and it provides some support to their claim that they dropped the sweet spot a little bit to help golfers with that miss.
No, for sure. And I think you look at those last two strikes there, very similar club head speeds, but two very different strikes, right? You got one that was dead out the middle, and you got one that was a little bit lower on the face. Well, actually, because of that sweet spot was a little bit lower, I actually got more ball speed out of it because the energy transfer is much better on the lower part of this on this particular club head.
Yeah. So well, we can chat it over here in a second and kind of talk about the golfers that the iron's for, but just from the testing, we saw. I'm going to call out just a couple of numbers here. The smash factor at 1.4 and consistently right around 1.4 is, I think, really good. Plenty of launch on average 18 degrees there. And I think that it is worth noting the spin, when you're able to hit one kind of high off the sweet spot and turn it over a little bit, it did dip into the low 4,000s. Those kind of ones that are slightly below the equator, so to speak, we're actually creeping up around 5,000. So that's something to note, but your distance didn't waver a ton.
No.
You're still kind of in that high 190s carry for almost every golf shot. So I think that's important. And then we go to landing angle and height. I mean, look at how high that ball is flying.
Yeah.
So it's generating a ton of launch right away. The center of gravity being a little lower too, probably getting that ball in the air. So the concern with that loft being strong, and there's a lot of people out there that, that term loft jacking gets thrown around, and they are able to make it stronger because the ball is launching higher at impact. So right now, there'd be no concerns here with you especially, and I think a lot of players that are maybe a little slower swing speeds, but are concerned about that. I think this kind of proves that they don't need to be.
No, exactly. And I think the biggest thing for me is seeing how much more that golfer was spinning when it's hitting in more inconsistent spots, like lower on that equator, right? Because this iron's not made for me. It's made for people who have inconsistent strikes around the face. Yeah. So it's very encouraging to see the ones that have been hit low in the face spin higher, actually give you better energy transfer, give you more ball speed. Because in reality, the golfers who are going to be playing this iron, you're ticking every single box, right?
Yeah, it's fantastic because that's when you miss a swing, where it can get really bad is if it's like a knuckleball or the spin is lower and the ball can get you can lose control of it, and so it can help to have a little bit of some kind of help on the spin there on those misses. So really good stuff. I'm impressed with ZXiR. You gave good feedback as well on the feel.
Yeah, I think I liked it.
Really good so far. All right, Harrison, testing complete. Srixon ZXiR irons. We talked about takeaways on the numbers, but I just want one more recap from you on the look and feel of this iron after hitting several shots with it.
Yeah, I think first thing, Srixon feels really soft. They always do. Definitely feels like a very soft game improvement iron. Usually you don't have too much feel in them, so definitely a great option there. Yeah. Who is for? Definitely for guys who have more inconsistent hits on the face, people who struggle to get the ball in the air too. Anything that if you see you're someone who hits it lower on the face and you notice that a lot, this is going to be a great iron for you to come in and test. Huh?
Yeah, I think, and one more thing too, in terms of a golfer it's for, is someone who likes that thin top line.
Yes.
But still kind of wants some of that game improvement performance or maybe help. I know Larry Bob likes to call these user-friendly irons.
Yes.
And so if you like that thin top line with it, the blade length is certainly a little longer, but the top line being thin the way it is, I think is also very attractive to a lot of golfers.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's a barrier to a lot of game improvement irons because you don't want to look at something that's so chunky down there, right?
Yeah.
But this is a very smart looking game improvement iron.
Yeah, this definitely, it's a cool extension to the ZXi lineup from Srixon because now you have kind of the 4, 5, and 7 that are in that sort of, whether it's player's distance, player development, or maybe a player's iron. You add this at the top, so a lot of golfers that maybe couldn't play ZXi now certainly can and get a bunch of those same technologies, the same feels that some of those players can. So
yeah, for sure.
The ZXiR irons from Srixon, you can get fit at Second Swing. Schedule an appointment with Harrison or any one of our fitters. We'll get you dialed in. The ZXiR, it's a pretty good looking iron and pretty good performing iron. Harrison, thank you for your testing today. Great
Of course.
stuff.